Greetings, one and all. Count with me. 10. That means that after today, we've got 10 more episodes left till the new format. So this is your daily devotional for January the 21st. 345 days left in the year. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You are welcome to the daily devotional. 10 minutes together, your thought for the day. So if you're new here, click a like. Hit that subscribe button, because when we get to the new format, when new information comes out, you get notified right away. And find a way to share this with somebody right in the corner where you are. All right, let's get into it with the scripture of the day. Matthew 6:21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So think about that. Where does your treasure truly lie? For those of you that are reading the Bible in a year, today you're reading Exodus 1-3 and Matthew chapter 14, 1-21. Here's your thoughts for the day. Sometimes the people you expect to kick you when you're down will be the ones to help you get back up. Heroes are people who do what has to be done when it needs to be done, regardless of the consequences. And sorrow looks back, worry looks around, faith looks up. Here's your redemption draweth nigh. Here's your motivation for the day. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. Some of the best movie plots come from that concept, don't they? You read through the Bible and you get a lot of that. But let's move into history. 1879, 1,200 British troops are massacred during the Zulu War. In 1954, America launches the USS Nautilus. That's the world's first nuclear-powered submarine. 2020, the world's oldest asteroid impact at 2.2 billion years old is supposedly found in Yarra Bubba in Western Australia. And it may have ended the Ice Age, so as reported in Nature Communications. Here's your personal story for the day. Every day means something. In Edith Schaefer's book called The Tapestry, she describes a summer when her husband Francis was away in Europe for 3 months. During that time of missing him greatly, Edith and her sister Janet took their children to live in a former schoolhouse on Cape Cod. On a shoestring budget, they shared the rent, lived without a car, and created daily adventures for the 5 young children. Looking back years later, Edith said of that summer, "Never again have I spent time of that sort with my own children or my sister and nephews." Sudden precious moments in life need to be recognized for the unique periods they are, not wasted by wishing for something else. Edith's perspective offers us a key to applying the words of Psalm 118:24. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. During difficult times, we are tempted to become passive while waiting for a storm of life to pass. But God invites us to actively pursue the opportunities at hand instead of lamenting over what we don't have. Because the Lord has made this day, we can look past the closed doors to see people and opportunities we had previously overlooked. In celebrating their value, we discover joy and gladness from God. Here's your devotional thoughts for the day. Proverbs 3:21-22. My son, let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto the soul and grace to thy neck. References from Genesis 42-43. The Great Library of Alexandria was one of the wonders of the ancient world. Now, it was established about 295 years before Christ, and it collected leading books of antiquity, including Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, even some Buddhist texts and the translations of Scripture, an estimated 700,000 scrolls in all. Now, Egypt is building on this great tradition in the new Bibliothèque Alexandria near the site of the original. It has the same purpose too, a focal point for research, the advancement of knowledge, and the open exchange of ideas. The historical and cultural learning and achievements of Egypt are indeed impressive, but the story of Joseph, God used a former slave from Canaan to make plans to save the country. Through faith, discernment, Joseph, once a slave and prisoner, jumped from the prison to a key position in Pharaoh's court. Through faith and discernment, Joseph saved many people from starvation during the years of famine, including his own family. The severity of the famine forced Jacob to send his sons to Egypt, where they had heard there was grain. When they had their audience with the official in charge of food distribution, they failed to recognize Joseph, their brother. After all, he had grown into a man during the intervening years and was dressed in Egyptian clothing and spoke Egyptian. Plus, the last time they saw him, he was a slave in a caravan, Midianite caravan. So an Egyptian palace was the last place they expected to find him. Joseph recognized them, though, and decided to test them by accusing them of spying on the first visit and showing favoritism to Benjamin during the second. He aimed to find out how his family was doing and whether his brethren's hearts had changed at all. Joseph discovered that his father still grieved his loss and that his brethren, still felt guilt over their past actions. Their guilt led them to make solemn pledges to Jacob about Benjamin's safety when they returned with him the second time. As for Jacob, he seemed resigned to his fate and made no mention of trusting the Lord. Little did they know that forgiveness and reunion were just around the corner. Beautiful story. And finally, God's payday. 1 Samuel 26:23. The Lord rendered to every man his righteousness and faithfulness, for the Lord delivered thee into my hand today, but I would not stretch forth mine hand against the Lord's anointed. David knew that God someday will repay every man for his righteousness and his faithfulness. This realization prevented David from slaying Saul when he had the chance. Let's leave it up to God. He could have taken advantage of Saul's helplessness, but instead he did what was right. David chose the way of righteousness and faithfulness. You can be sure that God is no man's debtor. When we walk in righteousness and faithfulness, we can be sure that God will repay. It may happen on earth, but most certainly our greatest rewards will be when we get to heaven. If we seek to do what is right in God's sight and to serve him faithfully wherever he calls us, we can safely leave the rewards to him. God will never disappoint us. Now, if you're discouraged by a lack of recognition or appreciation, remember that God will repay your righteousness and faithfulness. Even if he waits until you get to heaven, you can be confident that someday will be payday, right? Your treasure's already there. Remember, you aren't home yet. And anybody that seems to be getting away with stuff, God will take care of them too. Here's the facts for the day. The duck-billed platypus can store as many as 600 worms in the pouches of its cheeks. Sharks and rays are the only animals known to man that don't get cancer. Scientists believe this has something to do with the fact they don't have bones, but cartilage. Here's your closing thought. Lord, grant that I may always desire more than I accomplish. And that's to please you, Lord, in your sight. All right, I got a joke for the day. It's beware of dog. And upon entering a little country store, the stranger noticed a sign warning, "Danger, beware of dog," posted on the glass door. Inside, he noticed a harmless old hound dog asleep on the floor by the cash register. "Is that the dog folks are supposed to beware of?" he asked the owner. "Yep, that's him," came the reply. The stranger couldn't help but be amused. "That certainly doesn't look like a dangerous dog. Well, why in the world would anybody post a sign like that?" "Well, that's because people kept tripping over him until I put the sign there." That's all I got. Thanks for coming. 10 more episodes left. It's been a great year, and let's keep on rejoicing, shall we?